Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for Constellation Theater Company's Creative Headquarters Tour. You all probably know me. I'm Sarah and Sillers. I'm the development manager. I am joined here by my coworker, artistic associate Nick Martin, who you cannot see because he's behind the camera.
Oh, the stupid button isn't working.
No, were you going to do a reverse? There
Hello.
he is. Hello. And we are here at Constellation's Scene Shop and Storage Facility in Silver Spring, Maryland. We have nicknamed the space the Creative Headquarters, or the CH for short. That's what we all call it, staff, because this building is kind of like the creative nexus for Constellation. It's where we build the sets for our shows. We rehearse here with the cast before moving to source. We do costume fittings here, and after the show closes, we store any props and costumes that we saved in this building. So Nick and I are really excited to show you all of the ins and outs of this space, and we'll also share lots of fun behind the scenes stories along the way. Nick has a better memory for that than I do, so I'll be checking in with him a lot for those details. If you have any questions about anything that you see, if you need me to repeat something or speak more loudly because I am wearing a mask, or if you need me to slow down the pace a little bit, drop a comment in the chat. I'll have my chat, I'll check the chat periodically here on my phone, so that I can make sure that I'm keeping up with y'all's comments. All right, so just a quick little bit of background about the CH before we start the tour. We've been at this location since 2017. Before that, we were sharing a warehouse space in Ivy City with another arts organization. I'm sure some of you might have been around for our 10th year anniversary celebration. That was in the old shop. So this space would be new to you as well. Obviously, the biggest advantage to moving was that we get to have our own space. We have a lot more storage space in this building. And finally, unlike in our old shop, we have air conditioning in this building, which is like a huge plus.
Crucial.
Nick will remember because he worked on the show too. I was an understudy for You're in Town in 2016, which rehearsed in the summer in our old shop with no air conditioning. We were singing and dancing up a storm in like the 95-degree full DC humidity weather. And we had like these giant floor fans and we did everything we could, but and everyone had a really good attitude about it, thank goodness. But now that we're in this space, we can all be much more comfortable, which is great. So obviously right now we are in the front lobby area. We have this desk space, which Nick will show you right here, where the stage manager or anyone else that is here from the administrative side of things can do some work. Over here to Nick's right, we have these lovely cubbies for our actors to store their personal belongings. For example, you could keep your script in here, or your dance shoes, or your knee pads, or whatever you need to rehearse in. I know it's kind of silly, but our actors really like this setup. Actually, it's a huge hit because I find that a lot of times you end up lugging a big bag or multiple bags of stuff back and forth between work and home and rehearsal. But with this, everyone gets to have a little name tag on their cubby and just keep their stuff here. And I love it because it reminds me of kindergarten. But I promise if you talk to any of our actors who have rehearsed here, they'll tell you how much they love the cubbies. All right, so let's move on to the two workrooms that we have on this lower level. So first up, we will see I know as soon as we turn the corner with the stabilizing stick we've got the camera on. This is the props workroom. Not too glamorous, but this is kind of a holding space for props that we can pull for upcoming productions or temporarily store pieces that were recently used that still need to get stored. So as you can see, here are some of the benches from Children Medea. This is the swing that was on that set as well. And Nick also told me that we have some props here in the corner that were pulled for as rehearsal pieces for the last 5 years. So they may not make it into the show itself, but there'll be something for actors to rehearse with, which is important. Okay, and then across the hall, check my chat to make sure. Okay, nothing yet. Across the hall, we've got a costume room with a small workstation here and some essentials, so that costume designers or assistants can do some, simple alterations or any work that they need to do on site here. It also makes it super easy to schedule costume fittings with the actors while they're rehearsing in the hall, in the rehearsal space down the hall, which we'll show you later. So like just quickly about costume designers and the way that costume designers work, and I'm sure Nick would be able to speak more to this as well. Most costume designers work freelance. Several of them you will find, have a permanent position at like a larger theater or perhaps at a educational institution, and that will allow them to have like their own permanent office, in the theater space. But if you are working freelance, normally you do like the majority of your work from home, which, as a lot of us now know after the past year, can be really challenging if you're short on space or if you're living, in a smaller apartment in DC. So, we really wanted with this room to just sort of, provide another option for our designers to be able to have their own space where they can leave some of their work and work on it. So yeah, let's move on upstairs, shall we? Speaking of props and costumes, because we'll see lots more of those.
Also, just want to hit the massive mirror we have in here for fitting photos, just to get different angles and really show off all sides of the costume as it's in development.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Perfect. Feel free again to drop your questions in the chat if you have any come up. Also, storage space for miscellaneous things like the seats that used to live in the back row of the theater. So we go upstairs. We have some decor here. We tried to glam up the space a little bit, it's not too glamorous, but I think this is from 36 views.
Yeah.
So we just decided that worked perfectly on this wall. Okay. All right, so now we are on the second level. This is a sort of little loft space. In here, we have a fair amount of scenery dressing that we've saved and reused over the years. Now, generally speaking, we have to be mindful about how much stuff we keep from show to show, because obviously we have only so much space. But a lot of times, it is prudent to keep some items that if they feel like general use enough to use again and again. So for example, Nick pointed out that over here we have quite a lot of foliage and greenery. A lot of it's from Little Shop of Horrors. But like, these are just kind of nice to have around because you never know when you're going to need a full bouquet of roses, for example. Those can be used for lots of different things. Perfect. And let's see. Oh yeah, over top of Nick's head here, we have this. We really are being resourceful with our space. So this was used, I believe, as the prop bed in the Master and Margarita.
Yeah.
When you see a bed on stage in a show, it's usually not a real mattress. It's a big foam block like this. And it's really not that comfortable. So you'll have actors really like acting hard to be like in a nice deep slumber on their awful foam bed. But there you go. And We also have an interesting assortment over here of like books, both real and prop, of different varieties. This one seems like it could be, yep. These are just, see, these are real from this side, but foam on the
Also,
back. So
most of these
magic.
phone books were from the skin of our teeth.
Oh yes, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Sarah, I had a question.
Oh yeah,
Do you borrow and lend with other theaters in the area?
that is an excellent question. Yes, in fact, we do all the time, really. I can actually show you. That's a perfect segue to the next room, where I can show you some stuff that we have lent with other theaters. But yes, we do often share props or borrow props from other theaters. I'm trying to think of, I think you had mentioned Imagination Stage
Mhm.
using some of our props from the Arabian Nights in their production of The Princess and the Pauper, which was set in a similar time period.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is often a great idea, you know, to collaborate with other theaters, see what resources they have, and just help each other out. It's just a nice thing to do. Yeah.
We also still have in our prop room that you'll see momentarily some props from the 39 steps that were borrowed from Only Theater Center that still have to be returned.
Whoops. Nobody tell Only. I don't think they mind. It's
No.
okay.
The pandemic kind of put a hold on
Yeah.
getting those back.
Okay, so here we are in the props storage room. And again, there's lots of stuff in here. I'll try to, you know, give some space to see lots of things, but if you do need me to slow down or be like, wait, what was that? Just like, let me know in the chat. So obviously we have a whole shelf of glasses of different types, everything. We do our best to really label and keep things organized because it just makes it easier to find things, but we have you know, glasses of different varieties here, different colors, sizes, shapes, what have you. Oh, this I thought would be fun. I love this little prop. I would love for people to guess if they remember which show this cute little tricycle made an appearance in. Drop your guess in the chat, and at the end of this room, I will provide the answer. So just a little trivia for you all. And speaking of those only props that Nick mentioned earlier, I think they're in this bag.
Sure are.
These were light covers from the 39 steps. So at the base, I think at the base of the stage, they had sort of these old-fashioned sconces. So that reminds me, we should probably talk to Olney about that. And of course, in this corner, we have these are from, if I feel like these are from Journey to the West.
Yeah.
You know, more foliage, the taller bamboo, and lanterns, probably from the 39, from the White Snake and similar.
Yeah.
A whole barrel of weapons, if you desire. A lot of times we do have a couple of weapons in here. Very frequently for shows, theaters will rent props directly from the fight choreographer, because fight choreographers, at least in this area I have found, often have their own like collection of weapons, varying periods and stuff like that. So it can also be like a trade or a rental from a fight choreographer. But we have a couple of here. It's spears and a broom, not technically a weapon, but it could be if you're creative. So yeah, let's move on in this.
Looks like we have a couple questions. I think Aaron guessed Sesame Street or maybe Avenue Q for the tricycle.
Okay, yeah. Good guess. I keep them coming. I want to keep hearing the guesses. And I will reveal the answer once we in a couple minutes, once we move on to the next room. And Aaron, I see that you also asked, do you keep an ongoing inventory of props? I'll try and hear. It's hard for me to hear because I'm listening from Nick's phone, but you can also get yourself
of props, all those things you're pointing out.
Mm-hmm. Do we have an inventory?
No.
No. This actually will probably serve as a nice visual. This video will probably serve as a nice like visual inventory. But yeah, in terms of like a written inventory, not really. It just, I think especially Nick has like a lot of the sort of institutional knowledge of like what was used in different shows. And we can always do some digging in here if we need to. That's another advantage of the space being we rent the space, but it's still like ours as opposed to sharing it, is that we can come in and check it out whenever we want to, including on a random Saturday afternoon. Yeah, and on this shelf we've got a sort of fascinating array of knickknacks and things, which I do love. I especially love the I'm gonna put my phone down for a second. I love a good old fashioned like perfume puff. I think these are really fun. Yeah, lots of little glass trinkets, miscellaneous small props is how they're organized here.
Urns and skulls and packages. Oh my.
Yeah. Is this like a chess table?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It was from the Master and Margarita.
Yeah, Master Margarita is getting a lot. Master Margarita will continue to get more shout outs in this tour, I think, because they just had such interesting. It's just like an out there show, had really cool props.
Casual Orthodox icons from Russia.
You never know when you will need those things. And I feel like sometimes we do keep props that are specific because they're often really hard to hunt down. And when you find a good one, you're just like, I'm going to hang on to this just in case, because just in case you did need it again, then you have it. Going on into this corner here, we have a number of these lanterns from different shows. I would never have guessed that we would have so many lanterns, but they do pop up in a lot of shows, I think.
Ooh, Holly just asked if we have any props lying around from Equus.
That's a great question.
I know that some of the prototype horse heads were living at Source.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them ever came here.
Yeah, I remember the horse heads being at Source because we did use those horse heads again in a couple of other places. I think Nick, you and I would sometimes go to these like Theater Washington. They were almost like a career fair. I don't know. Some of you folks probably went to this, but they would have like at Arena or like another big venue, they'd have like a theater kind of fair. And each company got like a little table, and there would be performances and stuff like that. So we sometimes would take one of the Equus heads and like put it on our table to like attract people to come over and talk to us about Constellation, because they were eye-catching. Holly, I will keep an eye out for props from Equus and let you know. Last time we were here, we didn't spy any, but who knows? They might pop up. We've got a number of musical instruments. Now, obviously, when we work with Tom Teasley, for example, or any other musicians, they tend to bring their own, but we do have some that are here as well. I love this little frog. It's one of my favorites. Number of telephones, including this one. Like, I love this. I love this old tiny phone. This also feels like it was from Margarita, maybe.
It was, but it got cut because it arrived too late in the tech process to get integrated into the show.
Oh my gosh. I'm on it. But yeah, that's a lovely one. Oh yeah, I do remember now because Ben Lauer had like he had the two phones that he was like pulling to his ear.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think there's more. It seems like there's more foliage up here. But let's move on to the other side. It's a little darker over here. So Nick, will you let me know? I might need to like give some extra light. Does that help?
It seems decent to me.
Okay. Because I do want to highlight these two excellent props that we just have here. From the Master Margarita. I told you that was going to get some more screen time. This is our friend Pagoda from the Master Margarita. puppet designed and created by Eric Teague, who also did the costumes. And I just really love the detail on this puppet. He's so funny. He's got, like, you can even see in the mouth, like there's detail in there on the top of the mouth, and he's got his like nose ring. Just a very, very funny puppet that only appeared on stage for like a couple of seconds. So a lot of detailed work went into this puppet though. So shout out to Eric for really doing an excellent job on our pig friend. And there, down he goes again. There he goes. And another prop that I noticed that we had for Master Margarita was Emily Whitworth's head. And Scott Abernathy's character, Woolen, tossed this around to great effect. And Master Margarita even has the matching glasses. Again, Eric did this based off of the lovely M. Whitworth. And put my phone down again so that I can bring this into the light and show you how the top of it opens. It's got a magnetic closure here. And I think there was a goblet stored inside the head for the devil's ball, Satan's ball.
To drink Trapen's blood. You know, like you do.
I hope you all saw Master Margarita, because if you didn't, you're probably sitting here like, what in the world are they talking about? Like, what is this weird show? It was a weird show. Surprise. But we loved it. So just to show you a bit more of the stuff we've got here, assortment of suitcases. I'm a little hesitant to like pull one down because I'm not sure if I'd be able to put it back up, but I love a period suitcase very, very much. Of course, lots of platters, lots of fans, which always come in handy. Oh, this one's like stiff.
Oh, no.
There we go. There's a lovely fan. We've always got a nice assortment of fans here. Scrolls, which we always have a lot of. It kind of makes you think about how like the different types of shows that Constellation has done is like really like, what are the things that we always need? Scrolls. Like there are tons of them. All these the pillows were what I was going to say that we didn't we lent out to iStage for the Princess and the Pauper, because they set that as like I think a Bollywood inspired setting. So all of these ornate pillows that we had all over the stage for Arabian Nights. What? Oh, okay. See, that's why I told you guys that I didn't want to like pull stuff down because it's gonna fall on top of me. But okay. All right, we're good.
Crisis averted.
Yes, crisis averted. I'm glad you all witnessed that. Okay. More food related items, glassware, lots of I like this shelf that is specifically for bottles. This a whole tub, an entire tub of fake foods, because you truly never know when that's going to come in handy. I feel like food is like one of the circumstances that you can always justify, because everyone's got to eat food always. So it's just like, oh, does your character need business in the scene? Well, maybe they can have a lovely foam sandwich, you know, that kind of thing. That looks delicious. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we have here in props. Awesome. And I'm checking the chat again. I just wanted to double check, you know, if people have any questions, feel free to jump in. And the trivia that I wanted to reveal about our friend, the tricycle here, is that this was from the skin of our teeth. And I think the tallest cast member in the show, I'm guessing he was the tallest cast member, yes. Colin Connor, rode this little baby on his long legs during the Atlantic City sequence of the show. Very fun, very quirky. But yeah, I would love for this tricycle to make another appearance. It's like sometimes with props, it's like a fun Easter egg. You know, if you're watching a show and you recognize a prop from a past show, you can be like, oh yeah, that was from,
Ooh,
what happened?
my phone is just at 10% battery.
Oh, okay. We might have to do
A switcheroo.
we might have to do a we might have to do a switcheroo, or we can just go through quickly. So let's move on to costumes. This is another darker room, but we'll try and get into the places that have light. Lots of organized boxes happening here. Props to Nick for doing a lot of the organizing and the labeling in this room.
And Cheryl. Cheryl too.
And Cheryl, yeah, and Cheryl Nerlich. So you can see we have like belly dancing belts and wrist bells, half masks, full masks, and wigs. This is an entire shelf of just shoes. Just shoes.
And most of them are very full.
Yes. Just totally shoes of different sizes. Because those always come in handy. Even today, before we started the tour, Nick came in here and was like, oh, we needed a pair of shoes for a cast member of the last 5 years to like rehearse with. So he like just took a pair of shoes and was like, well, I will use these. So we can just like keep an eye on your phone battery for me, Nick, because we might need to switch our phones. But we'll try to show you some of the lovely costumes that are in here. Just pull a couple of things and talk about them. So this section right here is like Little Shop of Horrorsville, because we've got all the matching costumes that were worn by the urchins in that show. The polka dot dresses I love. These were from the very opening song, as well as the Dadu dresses, which were so cute and only got to be seen for like a minute. Very, very cute. These are some dresses from Master Margarita again, with the lovely beading and the fringe.
And all of those have fun shoulder snaps because they were part of the magic sequence where all of a sudden everyone had to be in their underwear in a second.
You can see where Eric did those alterations so that they could have the snaps. So that we could have an on-stage quick change, because everyone loves an on-stage quick change. Whew. They are not easy to make happen, but we make them happen. Got a number of coats here of varying sizes. They're all very cozy. Over here, this is like our sort of robes shelf, which I love, because they're all so beautiful and ornate here. This one was from White Snake, worn by the Green Snake in the White Snake, worn by Momo Nakamura. I think in the final scene of the White Snake, if I remember correctly. Or a whole breastplate, which is in here. Let me try and pull this out. This whole thing from Master Margarita, I think the Centurion.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, just like lots of very colorful, fun props. Nick and I were trying to remember which show this was from. But we could not remember for the life of us. Lots of fun fabrics and things in this shelf. Oh, this was from Journey to the West. Try and pull this guy out. Oh, it's hard work. Yeah, Jacob Ye wore this, I think, as
Jade Emperor.
The Jade Emperor, thank you. Yeah, just gorgeous, like ornate fabrics and embroidery and all that. So really, really fun. You probably can't see too far back here. We're trying to make it work. Lots of veils and shawls, that kind of thing, on that shelf back there.
Oh, and the stag headdress behind you is a fun one.
Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me. We've got, look.
If we can get it out.
If we can get it out. this was a stag, a gorgeous stag headdress, which actually was repurposed, Nick told me, from the Master Margarita. So this was part of the headdress worn at the Satan's Ball when Margarita does her transformation. And then we repurposed the antlers for the White Snake for the character of the stag, who Whitesnake meets in the forest, played by Dylan Arredondo. So even costume, you get to see sometimes a callback to another show if they get repurposed or reused in some way. Yeah, and again, a slightly dark corner over here with just a couple of boxes, but like truly, like the variety of things that get captured here is it like never ceases to amaze you, because it's like we've got a box for military hats, got crowns and turbans, brimmed hats. That one says Fez and similar with ladies' 20s and riding helmets. You know, just the stuff that you accumulate over years and years is it all has to be organized. So yeah, that is the costume room. So let's put out. I'm gonna turn off my and I think I'm trying to stay mindful of the battery on Nick's phone is dying rapidly. But we'll go down to the main shop area and show you that room, and then we'll be finished. All right, so we're heading to the main shop area where our technical director, Mike Salmi, will do his work and building the sets. And this is also where our actors rehearse. Will often rehearse. So yeah, this big room, this very big, very echoey room is the main shop area. And over here, actually you can see all the parts for the set of the last 5 years, which is going to be, it's taken apart right now because it's going to get loaded into Source. It was intact like last week, but they took it apart because they have to put it on the truck and then bring it to Source. But it was all built here by Mike and his team. It does include a turntable, spoiler. But you know, to learn more about the last 5 years, we will be having our first look next Friday. So be sure to sign up for that for more info about the last 5 years. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
The funny thing about this room is that it seems very big, but once you actually map out the usable floor space, the footprint of this room is in fact smaller than Source most of the time.
It's like the footprint of Source if you don't account for the audience.
Yeah.
You don't account for like backstage or like the backstage area or anything like that. So.
And since we've been here for a number of years, Mike has been able to do a lot of fun things in terms of where he hides stuff. So he has built out all of this shelving that you see here and all of these things above this entryway. Lots of useful like stock pieces hide up there, lots of tables and blocks that are repurposed from other shows. And then he's also been able to like build some of his tools into the space. So this wooden thing right here actually hides a miter saw in it, which is just super cool the way that he's been able to make the space more functional for what we do. Because this used to be rented out by a sound system company. So just a very different thing than a theater company.
Yeah, we've over the last 4 years, you know, we've really made the space our own and have made it work for us. You know, have added obviously a lot of organization and like functionality to make it work as a theater space. Yeah, that I think concludes the tour. Pretty speedy, if I do say so myself. You know, before we head out, you know, if anyone has any burning questions, before we go, drop them in the chat. But if not, then I suppose we'll wrap up and just let everyone move along with their day.
Enjoy the wonderful weather outside.
Indeed, yes. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, we have the last 5 years coming up. Do check it out. And if you haven't yet watched Children of Medea, that is still streaming on our website through May 16th. Lots of fun stuff. Very, very busy here at Constellation. And I want to thank you all for supporting us and for being here with us this afternoon. All right, I think that's it for me and Nick. Bye, everyone.